Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to The Wealth. In today's video, we're going to be going through 8 people who accidentally made millions. But before we get into the countdown guys, I want to let you know that we will be picking one lucky subscriber every month to win a shout out at the start of a video. All you must do to enter is subscribe to our channel, like the video, and comment down below saying I subscribed. Good luck guys. Now without any further ado, let's get into this video. Number 8. Charlie Ayers. Charlie Ayers had spent 7 years in the restaurant industry and was quickly approaching burnout. In 1996, while taking gigs as a personal chef, he lucked into an $80,000 per year job working for a wealthy family in Silicon Valley. Unfortunately, although the money was great, he hated his clients. Through his girlfriend, he then heard about a small tech startup that was looking for a chef for its cafeteria. The job didn't pay much at $45,000 a year, just over half of what he was already making, but there were stock options and other benefits. Charlie decided to take the chance. To say the risk paid off would be an understatement. The small tech company was Google, and within the next 10 years, it would rise to utterly dominate the internet. Charlie became its executive chef and stayed on until 2005, when he left to pursue his own business interests. While he never disclosed what he made feeding the employees of the world's largest tech company during his last several years, it's safe to say that his decision to take the initial pay cut was a smart one. At the time of his departure from Google, his stock options alone were worth $26 million. Number 7. Richard Knoll. In January 2015, Massachusetts man Richard Knoll was running late for lunch with a friend. He knew they would be splitting the bill and wanted to pay in cash, but all he had was a $100 bill. So he ducked into a nearby convenience store to make change, but he had to make a purchase. Since he was on his way to lunch, he had no need for a snack and instead decided on a couple of scratch lottery tickets. It turned out to be the best off-the-cuff decision of his life, because one of the tickets was a $10 million jackpot winner, enough for Richard to buy a nice house, make some investments, and pick up lunch for his friends every day of the year for roughly 100 years. Not only was his life changed forever by his refusal to not use a debit card, it also turned out pretty well for the convenience store clerk who received a $50,000 bonus just for selling the winning ticket. Number 6. Philip Mazursky. In 1998, the World Major League of Baseball was transfixed as to once-in-a-generation home run sluggers. Mark McGwire of the St. Louis Cardinals and Sammy Sosa of the Chicago Cubs competed to see how much damage could be done to the single-season home run record, which for 3 decades had stood at 61. While Sosa ended up shattering that record with 66, McGwire ended up victorious, setting a new record of 70 home runs, which still stands today. 26-year-old Philip Mazursky was attending the historic game in which McGwire set the record. While he might have expected to see a little history being made, he may not have expected history to come flying right at him in the form of McGwire's record-setting 70th home run. According to the Phillips account, the ball bounced off the hand of somebody who leapt in front of him, ricocheted off a wall, and it came to rest under the bleachers, and the ball ended up right in his hand. Auction House Guernsey held an auction the next year, during which several historic balls were auctioned off. An anonymous buyer picked up Mazursky's lucky batch for $3 million, the easiest and biggest money ever to be made for a day out of the ballpark. While the buyer would not disclose his name or hometown, he did make a statement through a representative. Tell them I'm a heck of a baseball fan. Number 5. The expensive egg. In 2015, an anonymous scrap metal dealer from the Midwest paid $14 grand for a giant load of scrap in a jumble sale. Among the objects, he found a tiny egg-shaped 3-inch ornament that he thought may have some value. Hoping to melt it down and get perhaps $500 for it, he contacted several buyers, but was turned down everywhere he went. In frustration, he typed the word egg and the name engraved onto it in Google and discovered that his life was about to change forever. He found a Daily Telegraph article describing a frantic search for the 3rd imperial egg made by Furberg for the Russian royal family in 1887. It had been thought lost after being auctioned off by the Soviets in 1922, but had recently been recognized by Furberg researchers in a 1964 auction catalog. Somehow it had made its way into the American Midwest and into the hands of an incredibly lucky scrap metal dealer. The man flew to London and had the egg's authenticity confirmed by Furberg experts. It was purchased by a private collector for an undisclosed amount, but its value was initially determined to be over $30 million. Number 4. Glenda Blackwell. Glenda Blackwell of North Carolina was sick and tired of her husband's scratch lottery ticket habit. The couple wasn't exactly rich, but her husband Buddy wouldn't listen to reason, even though he had never won much of anything. One night, as they were arguing in a gas station, Glenda decided to teach Buddy a lesson by buying a ticket of her own, which she was sure would be a bust to demonstrate that he was wasting his money. Her scheme did not go exactly as planned. Glenda could hardly believe her eyes when the ticket turned out to be a $1 million winner. Since it's probably safe to say that Buddy couldn't have spent that much on scratch tickets in several lifetimes, it turned out that his habit may not have been such a waste after all. Glenda admitted to having to eat her own words, while pointing out that they were actually pretty good words to have to eat, and the couple used the money to pay off their house. There's no word on whether Buddy has continued playing the lottery today. Number 3. Chris Clark. Back in 1994, most people were still not quite sure exactly what the internet was or what it was supposed to do for us. It might seem strange now, but the idea of shopping, watching movies, or ordering food delivery online was completely foreign to the public. So when 29-year-old Chris Clark picked up the domain name pizza.com for $20, it probably seemed more like a gamble than an incredibly smart investment. Nevertheless, Chris paid the annual fees and retained ownership of the domain for 14 years. By 2008, smartphones had hit the market. The internet had become an irreplaceable part of our daily lives, and Chris decided to see what his purchase might be worth. He put the domain up for auction with a starting bid of $100, and by the time the auction closed, he was a multi-millionaire. The domain was bought for an astonishing $2.6 million, one of the largest sums ever paid for a domain name to an individual. While this is certainly a life-changing amount of money, Chris did admit to having one small regret: not buying more domain names when he had the chance. Number 2. Kevin Lewis and Kevin Lewis. Cincinnati's Horseshoe Casino was in the middle of a summer promotion in August 2013 when a random customer's name was drawn for a $1 million giveaway. The lucky casino goer Kevin Lewis came down to joyfully collect his prize and was awarded one of those giant checks we've all dreamed of receiving, right there on stage. But when casino employees began the process of verifying his identity, they quickly realized the mistake had been made. They had the wrong Kevin Lewis. The actual winner hadn't even been present in the casino at the time. Needless to say, Kevin number 1 was crushed at the prospect of having to give back that giant check, but the mistake had been understandable. Not only did the two men have the same name, but they were roughly the same age, similar in appearance, both frequent visitors of the casino and lifelong Cincinnati residents, and were even both engaged to be married. Fortunately for Kevin number 1 though, casino management decided that the only right thing to do was to let both men keep their winnings. This was the night two lucky guys named Kevin became instant millionaires, but only one of them did it totally by accident. Number 1. Declaration Finder. An unidentified man in Adamstown, Pennsylvania got the surprise of his life after buying a simple painting of a country scene found at a garage sale. Removing the painting from its damaged frame, he found what appeared to be a copy of the Declaration of Independence in fantastic condition, hidden behind the canvas of his $4 purchase. The man showed the document to experts at the Faint South Bees auction house, who not only verified its authenticity, but were able to determine some interesting details. It was printed on July 4th, 1776 by John Dunlap and is one of the original copies intended to go out to each colony. It's one of the only 24 known to exist and one of only 3 that are held in private collections at auction. The document was sold to the president of a fine arts investment firm for a whopping $2,420,000, by far a record for any piece of historical Americana. While it was not disclosed, the amount that the seller had hoped to get for his fine auctioneer, David Redden, said that he thought the man was going to be rather stunned to learn how much it had gone for. Well, there you have it guys, that was 8 people who accidentally made millions. If you did enjoy this video, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next video.